What's up, everyone? February 22nd here. We got a Wednesday night, college basketball in the spotlight. Got some big contests for us. Up in the lobby, we got some good action going on. I want to kind of let people filter in here. The link is in. Well, if I'm talking to you, then you've already found the link. We're not gonna do what we usually do with the game by game, because that's all in the playbook. So if you want game by game stuff, go to the playbook, and if you have any questions, put it in that live show chat Discord, because we're going to be talking about like important decisions, roster construction, and then news as it hits. We got one game that locks here at the bottom of the hour. That's the Providence UConn game, Kurt. And then we got how many games lock at 7 Eastern? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 games. And usually, one of them is the Virginia game. So, there are some sites, where we got like 7 games that lock right away. So we get to ease into this one a bit more. How are you feeling today, Kurt? Thanks for hopping on with me here.
Feeling pretty good. I got a couple, we're going to talk about some rules today. I have a couple of lineup rules for myself as far as pieces of teams I want to get. It's one of those, it feels like one of those slates where it's like, I want a piece of Florida, I want a piece of Clemson, so on and so on. And the lineup kind of builds itself after that. So hopefully we'll give you all enough information to kind of have a 2v2 of what we're seeing. And then one of us can get the shipper tonight.
Lock-in's playing for Cincy tonight. Why couldn't you just play it that other night? Man, that is not part of the slate. That is annoying. Let me tweet this out real quick so we get some more people in here. We're live now. Join us in the Discord chat. All right, so Kurt, the first big decision I think of the slate. Well, let's actually talk news first. There aren't that many news spots in this slate. Right off the bat, we have the Kentucky guys, Severe Wheeler and CJ Frederick, who have been out for a couple weeks now. I don't expect them to play. Do you? I think they're both on the doubtful side.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too, that they're both doubtful. I think Wheeler might be out longer. Yeah. And I think Frederick could be back soonish, but Wheeler might be out for extended, maybe, is what I heard, or maybe the opposite. But I think they're both going to be out here.
Yeah, so I put in the playbook, you can read it there, but without Severe and CJ, Cason Wallace has been playing 38-plus minutes. I think he's a super safe spend, and he locks in one of those guard spots. As we'll go through this hour, you'll see that guard is pretty weak in comparison to forward. I'm playing 3 lineups, and Kurt, I think I'm going to play 5 forwards in all 3 lineups, just because that's where the good spends are today. And, we have the Florida value forwards there as well. So that's the first piece of news. The second piece of news is Castleton being out. We knew this coming in, but what are your thoughts on how that impacts Florida? We saw Jatobo get the minutes that we expected, Kurt, on Saturday. I think going into the slate, if you told me that he would get 26 minutes, I'd be like, that's fine, So he did play that, but now he's got to guard Oscar. The backup, I'm not even going to try to say his name. I'm just going to call him Alphabet, is up at 4K. He's like a stretch big freshman. He actually looked good out there. I'm debating using him on my main team. And then we've got the hodgepodge of the guards and wings. How do you sort through the 2 forwards? And then do you have any favorites of those wings and guard types?
Yes, I'm doing 3 lineups tonight. I'm just kind of running some mini trains and stuff like that. So my decisions for Florida is 2 of the 3. I'm going to have 2 Florida pieces, and then the third lineup is just going to be 1 Florida piece. But my main thing is every single lineup, I want to have one of these Florida guards. I want to have Myron Jones protecting the best, so he'll be the highest owned. I like Riley Kugel the best, but I also will have a share of Kyle Lofton. We saw how he got it done at St. Bonnie's. He's took a lot of shots last game. They're going to need him. I feel like they're going to look at someone. They're going to look at him. And I like Kugel because I think he's the most talented. He's a freshman. He's looked good to me. So I want one of those guys in every lineup. If you want to play my guy, play Kugel. If you want to play Myron Jones, who's predicting better, play him. And then, of course, I have my one Lofton line. And then the next question is, I am actually going to be playing a Jatobo line today. I didn't have one Saturday. He probably hacks the shit out of Oscar. I'm not recommending the play, but it's how I play personally. It's how I try to win GPPs. I think that he can give me like 18 out of nowhere, maybe stay out of foul trouble. But I do agree with Alexei Shizmik. He did look good the other day. So Jatobo gets in the foul trouble. He comes in, gets you 18 to 20. I think that's enough. So that's why I want to have two Florida guys. Because, I mean, they're just so cheap. And someone's got – I mean, Colin Castleton was their entire offense, their entire usage. And, yes, they're not going to score as many points here. But these guys are cheap, and I think they can get it done here.
Yeah, so the big reason for playing two or possibly two is that their prices haven't moved and you're taking out the 30-some % usage guy. So I'm fine with two Florida. All of the prices are good. Jones projects well. I'm a bit concerned with the minutes. Like if you pull up his box score, like 3 out of the last 4 games, he's been under like 25 minutes. And he's a guy that, you know, when we were playing him earlier on in conference play, Kurt, we were playing him because he was playing 36, 37 a game. He's going to have to run hot from 3 if he's only playing 23 minutes to pay off there. Let's move on to the next piece of news here. I think the next one is the DePaul Butler game. I think that's huge. And we got Ncaa and we've got Manny Bates, both questionable. I think they're both doubtful. Do you have any read on these guys? I mean, usually Butler's really, really good about posting early, like from their team account, who's in and out at least.
Yeah, so they actually have been, especially that Sunday. It's like that was clutch for us. I haven't heard it. I feel like they've kind of both kept tight lips, so I don't really think we have a lean. But the good news is there are some pieces that we have in that late game. Like if you're an eye plays and you have Unganda in the utility, you can like Tremont Mark's not the worst pivot there. And then if we have Thomas, there are some Notre Dame pieces. There's Notre Dame pieces we can get to. They're actually priced correctly now. We can go there. Hell, maybe if we get both the guys in the DePaul Butler game are in, then it's like, but Bediako's out for Bama. I don't know if you heard anything recently on him. What if he's out? Then we got Pringle for 4,300, something like that. We can take a stab on. So we have so much flexibility that I'm just kind of plugging those two guys in, seeing where the news takes me. And I mean, come 8:30, I might have to pivot off the two chalk guys anyway. So I'm just going to plug them both in for now, see how my lineup looks, and go from there.
Yeah, I'm playing as if they're out right now. If you look at my core, I've got 2 core pieces that are based on that news. So like if Bates is out, Jalen Thomas at 5'4" is a great play. If Ncaa is out, on Jenda at 6'4" is a great play. He is a fouler, but Butler, one of the lowest teams in the entire country in drawing fouls. So, you know, there's a bit less risk there. Plus he's at home, which I like for foulers. And the block rate so far, you know, I mean, that's not completely sustainable, but it is crazy. So, like if Ncaa continues to miss, Ongenda is a guy who could be like 8K by next Saturday, you know? So while the 6'4" seems like sticker shock, that's because he's been splitting time for the last 2 seasons with the guy who's hurt. So I think he's got upside for like 30 minutes here if he doesn't foul. And it like he's a Liam Robbins type, like not as good of a scorer, but like the block upside is there. You know, like he could have 8 blocks here, something like that. So I really like both of those guys. I'm planning on playing both, and then there's enough guys late, like Kurt said, where we'll be fine. So going live show chat, Milan Man asked Manny Bates playing tonight. Do you think? Yeah, we talked about that. Joe says Oscar and Klesmit or Ezra Mannion and Sonogo is what he's stuck on. And with Sonogo locking at the bottom of the hour, do you have any thoughts there?
I'll go 1. I don't love Klesmit, but if that's where you fell, I mean, Iowa is a pace up for them. I think Wisconsin's going to win that battle and slow it down. But give me 1. I actually don't hate Oscar Klesmit.
Yeah, and then the last piece of news that's big, I think, we got the TJ Caldwell news. Chico Carter's out. I think the Bediako news is interesting, Kurt, because we're going to talk about a ton of 4K guys here. You have that Ongenda play at 6'4". If Betty misses here, Clowney at 6'6", I think becomes a really good play and an interesting pivot to Ongenda. You know, like if you get off to a shit start, everyone's going to have him. So I think going to Clowney is interesting. and then Pringle at 4.3. Like if you just pull up his box score just to be lazy, like whenever he gets minutes, he's been producing. He just doesn't see the floor that often. Like last game in 21 minutes, he had 40.5 fantasy points. We're not expecting anything like that, but earlier in the season, he had a couple games where he got 19, 20 minutes and got 30 fantasy points. So I think that would be awesome. We'll be hunting that news as the slate goes on. So not a ton of news today, but pretty impactful news, right, Kurt? Was there anything else that you were tracking news-wise?
I think like I said, I brought up the Bama situation. You know what's crazy? Like we have plenty of time to talk about theories, but like, what if at the last second, like Alabama is just like had the change of heart? They're seeing all the backlash on Twitter, and they're just like, Miller, let's just sit out tonight. Let's just sit out for this game and kind of just. They said he's playing, they say he's ready to go, but we've seen the shit happen before. And then all of a sudden, it's like that's a shit ton of usage to go around, and probably South Carolina keeps it in the game now. We can actually consider a South Carolina piece, some crazy shit like that. That's why I love that game at 9. If you have a lot of lineups, if you have 5 or more, I don't mind the thought of not playing much of the 7 o'clock games and just seeing if we get some crazy news. Kind of play like an NBA slate a little bit. Yeah, I don't think you need to do that for a main team play, but I think it's a solid strategy if you have like 5 or 6 or more like that.
Yeah, it's an interesting slate to do that because there are so many late games, like you said. We got
highest total there.
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games that tip at 8:30 or later Eastern. So lots of room to go around there. So let's pivot into the biggest spots. I think so. Like the biggest decisions are going to be the ones we talked about, and then like which 4K, like under 5K guys you like the most. I think the safest one for sure is Jacoby Wright. I put him in my core. He's played over 30 minutes, 3 straight. They get the pace up. I just think he's super safe to not kill you on a slate where there's not a ton of value.
Another news slate, we got Chico Carter is still questionable, correct? That would help even more.
I saw that he was doubtful to play tonight.
Okay. Yeah, so perfect. Yeah, I mean, it's really, really, guys, tonight, it's really hard to not just plug in Thomas, Wright, and Onganda and just wait. It's very, very hard not to do that. And the beautiful thing about it is you can plug them in. They're going to be chalky, but they're good plays for a reason. And then come 9 o'clock, if your 7 o'clock pieces didn't do great, start making a little bit of pivots off there. But it's really hard to not just plug those like 3 guys in right now, not to mention one of the like Jesse Edwards, Broom, Robbins. It's really hard not to just plug that in as like your 4 or 5-ish guys, however many I mentioned. I mean, I'm really it's so easy to build tonight. Like it just builds itself. 1 Florida piece. Okay, then you got one of the 3 Broom. Like that, I know you're doing Broom, Robbins, and Edwards. I kind of like getting a piece of the Clemson team. It's just so easy to build itself. And then you had the 4 chalk pieces we just mentioned. It's a pretty good slate. I've not had to do this all year.
Yeah, so it is a good slate, and even though there are a lot of good plays that seem really good, I think there are good pivots in a lot of the areas, right? Mm-hmm. So we haven't talked about Houston at all, Kurt. This is like arguably the best spot of the year for Houston as a team. You play in a top 5 tempo team. It's the hammer game. Sasser is probably a bit overpriced. I really like the price tag on Shed here. Jamal Shed's definitely my favorite Houston guy, debating on playing him in Maine, Kurt. But like right there, you have Chase Hunter, who I think is also a really good play at 7K. You got Cason Wallace right there in the 7K range. You got Jaden Taylor from Butler, who's been playing every minute. I think out of those 4, my favorite is Shed, and then Wallace. I mean, I really like all 4 guys. Yeah. I should probably say those are my favorite 4 in the 7K range. But then you also have RJ Davis. Like these, like Davis, Hunter, Wallace, Mintz, like guys like that, I'm not playing on a main lineup. But if I was playing a bunch of teams in that $18, I would be spreading these guys around. Do you have any favorites in that 7K range at guard? Since I feel like a lot of lineups end up having to grab something from that range.
So I'm going to rank it. Give me Chase Hunter. He almost made my core. And then if everyone's still out, give me Taylor, Shed. And who was the fourth? I'm looking.
So the four that I mentioned were Shed, Hunter, Jaden Taylor, and Cason Wallace.
Oh, shit. Okay, I'm going to put Taylor last because I love my boy. I think Wallace can flirt with triple doubles here. So I'm going to go Hunter, Wallace, Shed, Taylor. All four are very strong, though.
Yeah, I think Shed is my favorite of that group.
Tulane's, that's a great matchup.
It's just so good for all these Houston guys,
really
and no one ever clicks them. So, like, Houston could score like 95 here. The only way that their guys don't do well is if they win the game by 30 plus, which could happen. But Tulane just plays so many close games. All right, we just got lineups pop up for UConn Providence. The good thing about these Big East teams in the 5:30 window is that their lineups never change. So we got Bynum, Locke, Carter, Croswell, Hopkins, Newton, Hawkins, Jackson, Caravan, Sonogo. So no surprises. No surprises there. I like putting that.
Is Maine not going to fill, or am I behind? I'm going to refresh it.
It didn't look like it was going to fill earlier.
Fuck me, I got to get some more in there then. God dang it.
So I think, man, I really like. So I wasn't thinking that much about the Bediako thing, and I just did like a quick Twitter search. Like, if he misses here, Pringle is such a good play. Clowney is such a good play.
Pringle made my first lineup, I think. I have a lineup set up to where if Miller somehow misses, I have a little Pringle, Burnett, and Sears. I just did a full game stack of that one, like five pieces from that game.
I don't think he's gonna miss, but it could happen for sure.
You can play Bediako too. It's not like you can plug in Bediako and play him if he plays, and just go down if you need to Burnett or Pringle.
So what was I gonna do? So next, let's talk about our favorite cheap guys. So if you're building multiple teams, there aren't a lot of comfortable cheap guys. I think, like I said, Jacoby Wright is my favorite. I'm playing him on all three teams. How are you sifting through? Let's do like 45 and under, starting. Actually, let's just do under 5K because I want to talk about Lubin, but you go.
Okay, you there?
Yeah, I just hit mute on my thing too quickly. Why don't you go first on your favorite under 5K guys that aren't Jacoby Wright?
Okay, so I'll just start right at 5K. I'll go Bobby Klintman in the nut game. I do think it's a little bit trappy, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he goes for like 35 here because he has a pretty shot and he can make like 4 threes. It's the nut game. He fit in my game stack. So right there at 5K, I'll start out with him. If you fall in that 5K range and you want to have pieces to that NC State game, which is the highest total on the slate, no issue there. And then next, I'm going to – man, I don't really like the high. I don't like the high range. Ugh. I'd rather just go right down to Quinterly. That's my second.
So the guy that I'm playing on one of three is Van Allen Lubin. For Notre Dame. So the freshman big man got hurt like in late January, came back for that Georgia Tech game, played really well, played well against us, and then played well against Duke. 22, 23, 28 minutes in those three. And then in the Virginia game, I watched a bit of it. Virginia just played like that super small 5-out offense where they had Vanderplas at the 5. So Lubin just like didn't fit on the court. In a game environment like this, like against UNC, they're going to need a big man. And like, we don't have that many good cheap guys. And he's one of those that's got like 25-point upside where we're grasping at, playing Rylan Griffin for 500 less. So yeah, like he's not comfy because he could foul and he's coming off a 7-minute game. But I think that the 7-minute game was the aberration not what he was doing before then. So I'm going to hop right back on Kurt. I think he's a good play.
I like that. I like that. That makes sense then.
And I don't think anyone's going to fucking play him. So
No.
I mean, they probably shouldn't. But
No, that's a great GPP play, and that's the kind of look at these Pistons, bro. God bless, this is ridiculous. But I mean, this is the type of plays that I like. And the thing is, we don't talk about it, but those Notre Dame cheapies have actually been good to us this year. When we've gone and like taken stabs on them at 5K or below 5K, like Hammond, hell, even Starling, early in the season, it's always panned out for us. So the calls have been good on the Notre Dame cheapies. I like that.
Yeah, so I'm going to do that on one of my three. Did you talk about the Jatobo versus the backup guy, how you're handling that?
Yeah, so I mentioned the start, but you also had a question here about 2 Cougars good for single entry and then any run backs for Tulane. I think 1 Coug is enough, and I don't think I'm not playing a Tulane run back. I don't trust them at all. But, yeah, so Jatobo is going to start, obviously. I think he can get to 18 or something. At 3,600, it's so cheap. It's going to be tough to not foul Oscar, but if he can do it, I think that he will be a little more efficient from a fantasy point per minute perspective this time around. I don't think he plays as much minutes, though. I think he does get in foul trouble. So I think he plays like 18, but I think he maybe averages a fantasy point per minute here somehow, just gets a little lucky. I've seen it happen before. I think the guy does suck, but I like to go on those flop lag spots. I didn't play him Saturday. He was 40% owned. I'll take him. He's still really cheap. He lets me kind of jam in a lot of stuff. But yeah, the long foreign fucker looked pretty good. So at 4K, I can't fault anyone for going there. So this usually has to go somewhere. And that guy, another game under his belt.
Yeah, I kind of like the backup fit better in this game. I think that Jatobo is going to foul. But man, he's so goddamn cheap that even if he does play 18 minutes, he can get there on a couple rebounds, a block and a few putbacks. So no issue with playing either of those guys. Let's talk real quick about the spends. I think that there are 4 spends that are clearly better than the rest. In no order here, Liam Robbins, Jesse Edwards, Janai Broom, and Oscar Shibwe, I think are the 4 best spends. And then you've got Baycott, 1,000 more. So with Baycott, 1,000 more, and then the 4 that I just mentioned there, do you have any favorites? Does anyone stand out there for you?
I don't trust so I am rotating these value pieces, but I don't think there's enough. Like, I don't know, just the way I'm building, I just can't get up the Baycott. I'm fading him, hoping he doesn't get like 50-ish, hoping like 40. I mean, it still is on the road, but it's a nut matchup. So I'm not going to have him. I'm going to rank it Broom, Jesse Edwards, Robbins. No, I'm sorry. Broom, Jesse Edwards, Big O, Robbins.
And then Broom after all those guys?
No, Broom's first.
Yeah, I am big on Broom here. Let me see. Did I put him in my core? No. So my core, Kurt, is Wright, Thomas, Ongenda, and then 2 of Robbins, Edwards, Broom. So that's what I'm doing in all 3 of my lineups here. So that is what I'm going to run. I'm just going to rotate them throughout. I think that is the optimal way to play tonight. All right. I got all 3 of my lineups in. We got lock in 2 minutes, but we're going to stay on. We're going to stay on through the top of the hour when the other games lock because we got 4 or 5 of them locking then. Joel says, so in theory, we put in Jalen Thomas, and if Manny plays, we could put Lubin then and be fine. Yeah. So what Kurt was saying earlier, you can put him in. There's a lot of plays in the later windows where we're going to be just fine on this slate by holding and waiting because the late games are so good, right? So, you're not giving up that much by waiting. Whereas on some slates, you're like, oh man, this awesome plays are right here in this early window. this slate has some good plays in the early window. We've talked about a bunch of them. Sorry, I'm just double checking news while I'm talking. But not like the news reliant can't miss spots. So that's kind of where I'm at. All right, so we're locking now. We pull up the lineups for the next 4 games. So we got Florida game, Kurt. We got LSU, Clemson, and BC.
I had to get one more.
So
I had to get one more in the main. It's about to overlay. If y'all want to get in main, it's going to be like a 200-person overlay.
So Kurt, from this first window, let's talk about this first lock. So the 4 games that we have here are the Kentucky-Florida game, the Vandy LSU game, Syracuse-Clemson, and Virginia-BC. Do you have anyone from your core in those games?
Yeah, so Clemson, I want one of those Clemson pieces, Chase Hunter, PJ Hall, Hunter Tysons. I want one of those guys. I'm going to rank it in points for value order. Chase Hunter, PJ Hall, Tysons, but I do have a Tysons share. I think he'll be like 1% owned. It feels a little bit overpriced to everyone, but I do want to have one of those guys. So I will have that. For UK and alt lineups, I wouldn't mind getting one of Wallace or Big O. Feels like one. I mean, someone's got to get the usage, unless Reeves or Toppin just get nuclear hot. It'll be one of them. Like I said, I don't think you need a UK piece in a main team, but in an alt, don't mind that. And then UVBC, I don't love that. That covers. Oh yeah, Vanderbilt. I'm really hoping Lawrence doesn't bury me today because I'm talking a lot of shit about him. I'm absolutely not playing LSU.
Yeah, so for me, let me just check something real quick. So we just got our first lineups, Kentucky and Florida. No surprises on the Kentucky side. And Florida's going with Myron Jones, Richard, Kyle Lofton, Riley Kugel getting the start again. And it is the one-eyed pirate, Chitobo, starting at the 5. So what was I going to say? I was going to bring up Florida. So last game, they just got shit hammered by Arkansas. I was going to pull up their first half box score just to see, before they were getting bent over, if there's anything that we could glean from that as far as the rotations, because we did see. Where's that game? Arkansas. There it is. All right, so first half box for Florida. They were on the road there, and they're at home now. So in the first half, Kugel played 17 minutes. I like that, Kurt.
I love that. Please don't bury me tonight, bro. Come on, Kugel.
Jatobo played 13 minutes. Alphabet played 11 minutes.
Ooh.
Myrion Jones, only 5 minutes. I think that he's going to be popular here. I don't know what was going on with that. Oh, no, that was the second half. Okay. In the first half, he played 18 minutes. So maybe more upside for Jones than I initially thought. All 4 of their starters had 2 fouls in the first half also. So
I remember that.
Yeah. Let's see. We don't have any other lineups yet. Yeah. So for the Kentucky game, for me, it's Oscar or Cason Wallace. We've seen Livingston play really well lately, but I don't trust it. Yeah, Landy, that was what I was going to talk about next. McLaughlin has been in a couple optimals lately. It's a terrifying spot because you're playing Virginia, but the guy, like I put in the playbook, I don't get as concerned playing like forwards and centers, guys who can get peripherals against Virginia because they don't have to score a ton to get there, right? So like McLaughlin's not 3.8 anymore, but he's played so much the last couple games. Let me pull it up. 27 and 26 minutes, shot rate's up, the rebound rate's up. He's got some foul risk, but yeah, I do not mind McLaughlin at all. It's just I question the ceiling a bit in a tough spot.
I'd rather just find $100 and play your boy Lube. Speaking of Lube tonight, he's a good player.
Yeah, I do like Lube. I do like Lube tonight.
Was that okay? I get it. I get the play.
I do like Lubinson.
Makes sense now.
The matchup's better. He's at home. I mean, they're both at home. I don't know. I feel like I've missed out on these McLaughlin games. I was actually early on him. I played him in that Syracuse game, and I was fucking one game early. He put up 9 fantasy points, and then since then, a couple 20 pluses. So maybe a bit of, I was too early and kind of bitter about that in there. You can call it whatever you want. The punt that we haven't talked about too much, Kurt, that I like a good bit is Trey Wirtz. We've seen his price come down to 4.2. He's playing over 20 minutes. He is 3 for his last 15 3 for his last 17 from the court. So this is a Kurt special. It's a guy who hasn't hit a shot in forever, but we've seen him hit shots, and he's, it's an easy matchup against Carolina. Bless you. And I think that he's a reasonable punt there at 4.2 on a slate where I feel like we're grasping at straws a bit with these cheap guys, Kurt.
It's a matchup too. 4-2 against UNC. The dude can knock down 3 threes, and
at home.
Look at early in the season, he has upside. It's just Hammond. Hammond's gotten better. Lube's gotten better. But, I mean, if he comes in and knocks down a couple threes, he'll see the minutes. Well, he has been seeing the minutes, but I think he'll see even more minutes if he's hitting shots.
Yeah, agreed there. Do you have any kind of off the wall plays that you're including today? Because we do have the big $18. Some people are going to be getting a little more wild than usual. What do you think?
So I think, I mentioned Bobby's kind of one for that, and then if you're in the 150 max too, it's probably too late. But I was going to say have Reed. Actually, no, it's not. It's almost 7. But Reeves or Toppin are 2 guys. If you're doing 150 lineups, they're guys that can actually shoot pretty well, and no one's going to play them because the price isn't that comfy. I don't really have. Let me go back and look at mine. I feel like I don't have anything too off the wall yet. Now, all my off the wall shit will come around 9 when I see how the Florida game went. Was I right on playing a Florida guard? Was I right on a Florida big? Shit like that. And then I'll get crazy at 9 o'clock with the news. But right now, like I said, I played all the chalk, and then I'm going to see where that goes. I don't have one off the wall play. Pringle I have in right now, but it's probably going to be a pivot. Tremont Mark. There's no reason to get crazy yet, right?
Yeah, I think that we have enough good plays, and there's enough of them that outside of the agenda plays like that, I think that we're going to get pretty spread out. The guys I had listed are the expensive guards, right? So with everyone paying up for the forwards, I think there's 7K guards, and even I think the plays in the Wake NC State game are going to go under-owned in comparison to the ceiling that game has. You're going to get Appleby, Terquavion, Jarkel Joyner.
I had Terquavion in the lineup.
Hildreth. I think you're going to get those 4 guys all under 10%, which is pretty tasty in a game that is going to shoot out. The issue is that they're guards, so they don't have the double-double upside. They've got to score. So, it's just a little bit scary.
That game's better, but huh?
What was that? You're breaking up like crazy. Try to reconnect or something, Kurt. We'll get you back in. No, yeah, we're fine. All right, let's go back to the chat. Redmond Lubin also gives you the ability to punt to Pringle. Yeah. That's part of why I like him too. You kind of save that spot. Because, man, Pringle's a really, really good play, especially for the Q or the $18. Alphabet or Wade for Pringle possibility. I do like that idea. Yeah, I think that the Florida guys are just better plays, Barrick. We've seen Bediako be questionable for the last 2 games, and he's played in both. He hasn't played much. So, man, that Pringle play is enticing, man. I might get me some of that. What else we got in here? Kral is the off-the-wall play. Barrick, we're not playing 8K Steven Kral. PJ Hall is off the wall. Yeah, so Hall is interesting because he's probably going to play the center of that Syracuse zone, Kurt. We've seen that be fruitful for the entire year. My concern is the minutes and the price, right? I put in the playbook today, Kurt, on a different slate, I think I would be more interested in Hall and Hunter Tyson. But when you're 300 away from legit best studs in the country guys like Jesse, like Broom, it's kind of tough for me to click a PJ Hall over guys like that,
Hey, I'll play devil's advocate there. I don't think Hall and Broom have the same ceiling. They both have 50-point ceiling, and they both have a weird minutes thing going on. It's been like that all year, and they both sometimes get in foul trouble. I think they're a lot more similar. But I think Broom is the better player. But from a strictly fantasy point perspective, I think they're pretty similar.
All right, let's get to a couple more questions in the chat. 7 Up Yours, great name. It says 7,200 last piece stuck. I think it's a great place to be stuck on, Kurt. I think there's a bunch of plays at that 7-2 spot. Do you have any favorites there? We kind of touched on them earlier, but I know people pop in and out. We specifically talked about Shed and Chase Hunter. What do you think?
God, I just now look at the show chat. Okay, so, ask that one more time. My bad. Oh, shit. Okay, ask that one more time.
Guy in the chat said he's stuck at 7-2. Do you have a favorite play there? And I said we had talked about Shed and Chase Hunter in that spot.
Oh, so your play Shed, mine's Hunter. So it's a 1v1. I think Shed's a lot more safer though, because the matchup is absolutely. I mean, they're both nut matchups, but I don't know. Shed has just that safe 30-point ceiling in my opinion. Whereas Hunter, if he's missing shots, he'll legit go 1 for 12.
Yeah, Shed. I like Shed because Shed can give you the 2x2 with assists, and that's where you see the 40-point game for 7K.
Steals too. Steals and blocks.
Checking for news. We don't have anything yet. We're not really waiting on anything for these games, Kurt, are we? I don't think so.
7 o'clock is all the 9 o'clock news. Manjone, Sizzy, or Jack Clark and Jito. Oh, that's a hard one. I'm going to go 2 actually, and just pray that he doesn't foul.
I think 2 for sure. There was another question I was just about to get to. You better relax, Blow said thoughts on Clark from NC State. I'll let you talk about him. We kind of touched on him for a second earlier, but I know that you're high on him.
Yeah, so I mean, he gets things going for this NC State. I mean, they have a bunch. Joyner and Turk are awesome, but as far as having an interior presence, he's so versatile. He'll get the board, he'll just kick it out, block, 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 kick it right out. Turk, block, Joyner, block. And he can score too. He gets the wide open looks too. He just does a lot. I feel like it's a very safe price. The other day we got yanked at he got his 3rd foul. He came out. Ernest Ross came in. Game was kind of getting out of hand. UNC wasn't trying. Making his return, I don't think they needed to push it. And plus Ernest Ross was playing very well, so they said fuck it and didn't play him that many minutes second half. So I think that we see a full amount of minutes in this great game environment. I think 65 is not enough. I think he can easily get the double-double, which should have happened last game with a little bit more points upside. And this guy says DJ versus Shed.
Yeah, I'm just never going to play
Burns?
DJ Clark. Yeah, I mean, DJ Burns. He did shit on Wake last time, but I put in the playbook, Forbes is too good of a coach to let that happen to him twice. That game was crazy because, Kurt, I remember I was all over the NC State guards in that game, and then DJ Burns had 31 points and 8 rebounds, and no one else took any shots. Yeah. So with Burns, you have the risk that that's not going to be the game plan, and then B, he fouls like a maniac. So
He's
like,
fat because I feel like a lot of people looking at game logs, they're seeing like Leaky Black. Like I told my buddy today, I was like, Leaky Black's a defender. Don't be fooled by these game logs. He's out there for his defense.
yeah,
Don't be fooled, and he'll get you like 14 fantasy points.
He's run into a lot of rebounds lately, which has kind of buoyed him a bit. I'm just never playing Leaky Black, especially not at 6'5".
And then Burns has been great this year, but I'm not playing max price Burns. He's fat. He can get out of position and foul people. So
yeah, so to circle back, it's
That's
Jamal
awesome.
Shedd for me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to finalize this third lineup of mine. I'm going to play Lubin in it. I think I'm going to play Jatobo. I'm trying to decide if this is going to be where I play like both Hunter and Shed, so I don't have to choose, you know? Let's see. Where does so we have Hunter projected better than other sites do on this slate.
Good.
Which I like. We're still waiting on the Vandy LSU lineups and the Syracuse Clemson lineups. I don't expect any shenanigans there. I think we're going to get everything that we're expecting, and we're going to be good to go here. I'm just kind of fooling around with some stuff. Do we have any more questions in the chat? All right, here we go. Forza Radio and Raleigh saying they're going to play Burns differently. Yeah, of course they will, because he just pooped on them last time. Love the Kugel call. Yep, I've got some Kugel.
Read the comment, Steve. Read the comment.
Did you get your Lubin in there?
Oh my! No, it was true. Like, so my ex, the girl I just got an open relationship with, she does Kegels. Like, bro, I nut in like 3 seconds. I don't know what she does. She does it every day. She does Kegels nonstop, and I legit just nut. I try to last longer. I can't help it. So and then I get with this different girl who doesn't do Kegels, and I'm like a fucking Iron Man going for like 5 hours. Like, anyways, one question I had. One I had for Ncaa. He says he's got Clark, 2 UF pieces, and then Wright. Is that Jordan Wright?
No, it's it's Jacoby Wright, the South Carolina.
Okay. He put it there in the forward spot, and I'm pretty sure Jordan Wright still has forward flexibility, so it kind of confused me. Well, not in the forward spot, but where I read it.
All right, so we just got lineups: Vandy, Lawrence, Mannion, Trey Thomas, Miles Stute, Liam Robbins. No surprise there. LSU going with Cam Hayes, Miller, KJ, Tyrell Ward, Derek Fountain. We didn't talk about any Tyrell Ward. We kind of played him last week. I think that dream might be dead. I mean, he's okay, but he's also not 3-2 anymore. He's up at 4-1. Who are your favorite 2 Gator plays, starter or non-starter, Kurt? What do you think?
I'm gonna go 2 guards. I feel like they're safest. So let me get Kugel. I'll go Kugel and Jones. I don't have that combo, but I didn't play 2 of the guards.
I think my favorite are it's Kugel and then just one of the centers is what I'll go with.
That was my combo I used. I didn't actually use 2 guards.
We got some more questions here. Anything new on DePaul yet to make Nick O a core play? No, LT Dog. We'll probably have that news. Which game time is that? That's an 8:30 Eastern. So we'll probably have that at 7:30 Eastern because Butler and DePaul are really good with their news. So we should know 45 minutes before this game starts, and I'll put it in the NCAA basketball chat. It's Ncaa. Okay.
Who was your Alabama blowout script play? I just gave mine.
I've got a lineup with Rylan Griffin.
That's what I said. I said Griffin's good for the blowout script. He's been every Bama game I've watched, he stayed in during the blowouts, and they've kind of took out Burnett sometimes. They've took out Welch, and they kept in like fucking Sears and Miller sometimes. So I'm gonna go Griffin for the blowout script.
Yeah, I think Griffin is safe to. Was that? Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just think Griffin is safe to get his 18 to 20 minutes, and you know that he's going to be doing shit while he's out there. He's like super active. So I like that about him. I'm trying to decide this last. Do I have Broom on? Yeah, I'm going to do this. Oh, my third lineup just came together like fucking butter. Let's go.
That's the best.
All right, I've got all three of mine locked and loaded. Any other questions in the last 10 minutes? What's that?
Yeah, right there. Up 7 Up has one for you.
Jacoby and Joyner or Clintman and Hunter. I think one is definitely projects better. Two is more. Two is like your tournament. Like if you're playing the $18, two is got some serious upside and is going to be much lower owned.
Really?
I do like that.
Jatobo?
No, two. The Clintman Hunter side is going to be lower.
No, I thought two was safer.
You think Clintman and Hunter is safer than Jatobo and Joyner?
Mostly because Jatobo.
I think Jatobo and Joyner probably projects like 12 points better than Clintman and Hunter.
Well, it's because Clemens projected like for 2x. Clemens projected terrible.
Yeah, I think Joyner is super safe to get like 30 plus. And I think Jatobo, if he doesn't foul, he's going to get you 12 to 15. I think that's super safe. I think the second one is fun if like you're playing the $18 or something.
I actually legit have two, so let's go one.
All right, we just
got. And I'll cover. I'll send you a portion if I win 7 Up.
All right, we just got our last lineup. Let me put it in the chat. I almost put it in the wrong chat. That's not fun. So Syracuse, Mintz, Gerard, Chris Bell getting the start again. Don't use him. Malik Brown and Jesse Edwards. No surprises there. Chase Hunter, Brevin, and Shiflin, Hunter, and Hall. So no surprises there in that last game. Wait before I get to work. Kugel and Alex or Lofton Jatobo. Was it Ncaa? Yeah, Ncaa. I'm on the first side there. So Delaney's got a good one here. A guy that we haven't talked about at all, but I really like him in this spot, and I might put him on one of my three lineups. So Connor Essegian is coming off the 0 for 10 game against Rutgers. No one shoots well against Rutgers, but like he's been playing like 35 minutes a game, and now they get Iowa at home. I think Essegian's a really, really fun play here. So pairing him with Jatobo, I think is interesting, but I also like the Lubin Kugel side. So
that's a tough one. That's really tough.
I like both. The first, yeah, man, I don't know. I like both. I would play either. Is my cop-out answer. I would be fine playing.
I mean, that's fine. Let's do it. I mean, because like we like both. It just go with your gut on that one.
Yeah.
Ncaa, I have just a statement about what Ncaa asked. For the Kugel alphabet guy or Lofton Jatobo. So in my Lofton line, when I mentioned I have a lineup with one UF guard with no forward, it's the one I ran Lofton and no one else. That was the only Florida guy. So I guess to answer your question, I'll go one because when I use Lofton, I didn't use other Florida play. I'm hoping just everything goes through him.
Do you have any Chase Hunter here, Kurt? In this spot?
I have way too much Chase Hunter. Way too much.
If the main guys from DePaul
I rotate
play, who would be pivots off your core? Yeah, so that's a good question. So if let's say both Ncaa and Manny Bates play, Kurt, what are you going to do here? What's your plan of attack?
Let's go fix that right now. Actually, fix this out. Okay, so I'll have. Let's go to my main lineup. That'll help. Let's see, where's it at? Oh, there it is. Okay, so we'll take out Onganda. We'll take out Thomas. We'll put in. I'll put in a Bama piece for sure. It's like a cheap Bama piece, and then that'll give me like 6K to work with. I'll go Connor.
Yeah, so I think the first answer is if both those guys play, then I'm not interested in anyone in that game. So like you can just pass on the game and wait for the 9 o'clocks because that's the only lock at 8:30, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Christ, we got 6 games that lock at 9 p.m. I think what I would do at that point is Ongenda is a direct pivot to like a Jack Clark, which is cool. Or you can go up to like a Jamal Shed, a Juwan Roberts, who we haven't talked about at 7K. I think is a good play here. But I think the main thing is if those guys are in, just get them out and wait for news because like we could get this Bama news. If Bediako misses, then that's going to open up Pringle as a good play. I think basically what I would do is probably play a cheap guy and an expensive guy. Like I'll go down to a cheap 4K and then just get another spend because we're playing that mid range because these guys are mispriced with the news, not because like we want to jam in a 5,400 and a 6,400 guy.
Yeah, I think Clinton and Victor Lube been becoming way more in play than two. Like 5K Clinton starts to look not so bad.
Lube and Kugel is dirty as fuck. Love that combo. Yep, I love the Lube Kugel combo too. What if the Lube and Kugel combo ships the $18 tonight? It's
going to. He was asking that. That's hilarious. Oh wait, he didn't ask it, but it's close.
Get you some Lube and Kugel combo. Otters is asking, what's the best game to watch tonight? Just like pure game to watch. Well, the Providence UConn game's on right now. That's a good game.
There are a lot of decent ones.
I think Wake NC State is going to be the most fun game. Both, I think NC State's in. Wake is this is like their last stand to make the tournament. So I think that's going to be a good game. Iowa Wisconsin will be interesting. It'll probably be close, at least. And then if you want to see one team beat the piss out of another, you can watch the Bama game or the Houston game. Let's see.
Well, I don't know. See, I think I'm gonna bet South Carolina to cover tonight. I think that's gonna fuck with the whole team.
I hope they do because that means that we get max minutes from all the guys. K-Fleek Burner says Hunter or Shed. That's a big call. I think with the roster construction that we're going with, I prefer Shed. I've got Shed over Hunter in more lineups, but I also have some with Hunter, if that makes sense. Like, I think both are really good plays. I just trust Shed more. He's at home. He's got the pace up.
I like Hunter more, but I understand all the Shed having a better floor.
I mean, this is a great spot for Hunter as well. Barrick, you damn right. Ecesian is smashing tonight. Yeah, Barrick, you better play Ecesian. Like this is the best.
Is that his guy? Is he always playing him?
No, but he likes Wisconsin. But like, man, this is a good spot for him. And the best part is that he projects like shit. But like, look, so like I'm using the projections right now. Like if you bump Lubin from 18 to 23 minutes, Kurt, he's in the optimal.
How do you do that? It doesn't have any access. I don't have access to do that.
I'll show you afterwards. Because he's at 18 right now. Before that weird Virginia game, he played 22, 23, and 28 minutes. So if you put him at 18,
so give him 21.
He's at 22, then 23, then 28 in the 3 games. I'm going to put him at 23 minutes, and I'm going to run the optimal. Any Baycott or Oscar? Baycott's kind of tough to get to. Really, really good spot for him. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue with anyone who plays Baycott or Oscar. I think I would be more interested if the guys right at 9K weren't such great plays.
I got an Oscar line up.
Yeah, Kurt, if you bump him to 23 minutes, he's in 80% of optimals.
Jesus.
Old Lube himself.
Lube's your play of the day, and mine's Kugel. Clip this. So we'll have it later when they both fucking go 5x. Lube and Kugel, baby.
Lube and Kugel. It sounds like a law firm. It sounds like a law firm.
You're gonna need that
Lube and
Kugel.
Jay Kearney in the chat says, any must plays for the 4 upcoming games? So Kentucky, Florida, I think must play. I think not must play, but I think the Florida pieces are really good options. We talked about all of them. No must plays from the Virginia game. I do think that McLaughlin is viable at 4-5. Vandy, LSU. I think Liam Robbins is an elite spend here. No other must plays. I think Tyron Lawrence is in play. And then Q's Clemson. We talked about how much we like Chase Hunter here. And Jesse Edwards, another elite spend. So, man, that was fun. We did the full hour here. Hopefully we get a good foul slate, Kurt. I know it's frustrating when people hop in the lobby and there are fouls for your guys right away. Trust me, I feel worse than you do because you're joining us for a couple of days and fuck, of course this happens when people join the lobby. Hopefully it's not an issue next year. I think that they might change it to 6 fouls or a 3-and-3 thing, which would be awesome. But yeah, so
the 3-and-3 thing is interesting.
For the rest of the night, I'll be in Discord. I'm sure Kurt will be in there as well. I'll be posting news and lineups too. As they come out. I'll be posting news and lineups, Kurt, and my reaction to them in the Discord. So when we get the Manny Bates news, Kurt, when we get the Your Ncaa news, Kurt, we'll be putting that in the Discord, and Kurt and I will give our thoughts. I think watch out for that Bediako news. I think that could really turn the slate on its head. So we will see you in Discord, and I'll be on the Saturday show. Kurt's always welcome. So we'll be back Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, previewing that Saturday slate.
We got a playback coming up. I don't know who's gonna be on it though.
I might be on it for a little bit.
Okay.
So yeah, Kurt will be. Kurt's gonna solo the playback at 8 p.m. in an hour. Holden said that he's doing something with his cat or something. I don't know.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God.
That might be a code lingo. But yeah, we'll see you all on Discord. For Kurt, I'm Steve. Catch you all next time.